My name is Mark Sherman. I live on Hancock Avenue in Ward 3. Since 2015, I've been trying to work with the Department of Public Works to ensure that any LED conversions meet the public health needs that have been identified by people all over the country and all over the world in relation to these lights, which are sometimes too bright and which are sometimes too high on the color spectrum, too close to the blue end of the spectrum. Lighting is a public health issue, and it's also an aesthetic issue. And I have long been concerned that whatever we did with the overhead streetlights, which the council considered last year, that we might at some point lose the decorative streetlights, the historic shorter streetlights in the Old Town section, which to me are such a special part of what we do. I created a really little slideshow about this. Is it possible to load that? I don't know. If so, I can use that. If not, I'll just speak extemporaneously. In what you just heard about the city of Takoma Park, and I'm so glad I came tonight to learn more about the history of my own city. Takoma Park is often being held up as a model for other municipalities. But it's also incumbent upon Takoma Park to listen to expertise elsewhere and not assume that we have all the expertise in our own hands. And so what concerns me most about what's been proposed is that the configuration put forward by the Department of Public Works, riding on a contract to our created by Anne Arundel County, is not something that the International Dark Sky Association thinks would be a good idea. I shared with their technical director, Pete Strasser, what the city has proposed. And Mr. Strasser was quite forthright in saying that what was proposed is not something that that association would ever approve. Here's my little slideshow. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So in addition to what a light looks like during the daytime, and here we have a nice shot of the light by the farmer's market. You can go to the next slide. There's one by the hardware store. It's also the type of light inside and the way that that light is shielded. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. The old lights have a yellow hue, and it's partly the casing, that translucent covering that you see there, and it's also the type of light that's inside. You can go to the next slide. This is the sample light that was installed, I learned yesterday morning, on Columbia Avenue to the side of the Long and Foster building at 1 Pine Avenue. And you can, if you look carefully, you'll see the street lights that are green in the background, but then below the street lights you see two little yellow things. Those are two of the existing old-style lamps, and the thing in the foreground is the new thing. I took that with an iPhone camera, but the camera doesn't really do justice to the distinction in the type of lights we're looking at. You can go to the next slide. That's a shot during the daytime. The thing about this sample light is that there was no notice to the public that this was a sample light. There was no way for anybody to say, oh, geez, I'm going to come check that out and weigh the merits of the proposal of putting that same light fixture in the rest of the Old Town area. You can go to the next slide. And in contrast, this is one of the older lamps, which doesn't overwhelm the camera or the human eye. You can go to the next slide. There's also the issue of context. We've had a growing number of lights on the sides of buildings. This is the Bank of America. They got 5 lights just on that one side of the building. And that's the end of my slideshow. You can close it. I didn't have the opportunity to do more. The fact that I only learned about this yesterday morning, I think, is a sign that the process for public input has been inadequate on this issue. And I'd be happy to share with the Council the very detailed comments by Pete Strasser of the International Dark Sky Associations. When I shared those comments with the Director of the Public Works, she said she preferred to follow the city's own expert, who is an account executive with the company that is selling us the lights. Now, I expect salespeople to know something about their products, but they're not a disinterested party. And so I urge the Council to vote no, something that's difficult to do, to vote no tonight, because we have not had the benefit of the input of the organization that is head and shoulders the most expert organization on what type of lights cities should consider when making these type of installations. Please don't make a decision tonight that would forever alter the character of our Old Town district. Thank you very much.